Okay, I have another thing. Another bothersome thing where I'm just like, I don't know if it's righteous indignation rising up in me, but I used to ask this and wonder this even since I was a child. And when I used to go to a church, when I used to go to Christian churches and Christian fellowship, but it's not just that. And I have friends that are Christians and stuff like that, and I have people who speak and say they're Christians or Jewish, those who are Hebrew, those who are Israelite, those who are other nationalities and denominations, like those who are house churches and house fellowships, those who are just believers. But what I wanted to say was, the other thing that came up to me was, I was like, is Yah's love unconditional? Is there no conditions to actually being in, abiding in, and remaining in the love of the Father? He loved, this was what love is, that not that we loved him, but he loved us. And he laid down his life. He sent his son to die for us. But wasn't that a condition? Like, the condition was Messiah had to come, or even to remain in faith and to be saved, right? You have to know the Son and partake of the Son in order to know his love and to know him. You have to have a relationship with him. You have to do the work or the effort and the commitments and the reading and the understanding of knowing him. Like, in order to believe him and what he says, you have to hear what he says or seek to know and knock and you shall be found. Like, those are conditions, right? There's conditions to following him, abiding in him, remaining in him, being a part of him. So this definition says combined to the prefix meaning not, with conditional meaning dependent on something else. So we are dependent. It's dependent upon your belief, dependent upon believing in Messiah, depending upon salvation, depending upon the Father. It is a condition that he loves, but also he turns away from the things that he hates and he abominates. So in order for him to love you, or to choose you, or to call you, or to purpose you, is the condition of the Father and what he says and what he's chosen. But on the other side, with us, in order for us to know his love, to receive his love, to believe his love, to abide in his love, to walk in his love, to imitate his love, to have his love, means that we would have, the condition is actually having a connection and a relationship with him. So that is the condition of having a relationship. Well, how do you have a relationship with the Father? How do you have a relationship with the Creator who is love? If it's like just because it's just through osmosis, it's granted to everyone. He gives the opportunity to everyone, but not everyone accepts him. Is the condition that you don't reject him? Is that the basis of loving the Father and having the love of the Father, is that you don't reject him? Then that's still a condition. You can receive and have and partake, should I say, partake of his love that is always there, per chance that you don't reject him, or per chance that you abide or keep the command of whatever that he says, whether that is believing in his Son, whether that it is having the faith, whether it's that's being of belief. But those are conditions. So just something for people to study on their own or to think. But that was another thing that has bothered me over the years, even since I was a child, to hear people say unconditional love. Well, there's nothing that can separate me from the love of Yeshua when I'm in him. But per that, as he said to the Gentiles, you were adopted into this natural olive branch, but you could also be released just like they were if you continue to remain, and if you continue to remain in belief. So that is a condition that as long as you continue to do what he has asked of you or required of you, you will be able to continue to receive the benefits or receive the gift, because his love is free. Without, again, is that even free when you have to do your part and have an accountability and have a responsibility as well? Is it the count that it's your belief? We all give an account, right, on the day of judgment. So is it truly free? Is it truly unconditional? Truth sets us free. But I mean, is it free in the sense that there's nothing that you have to give? Do you also have to give of something in order to receive? Or do you also have to give in order to partake? Or do you also have to, are you giving your heart? Are you giving your trust? Are you giving your belief? Even that is something. Is there an exchange that takes place? Is there a currency in the form of belief, in the form of the connection of the Spirit, in the form of the living water? And that's a question too that I just throwing out there. Is it that truly unconditional? Is that truly free? And it makes you free. And like he bought you with a price. Yes. He laid down his life. Yes. He conquered sin and death. So you didn't have to conquer. So that you didn't have to be the atonement. He became the atonement. And there's also things that he asks of us. He requires of us. He's given so much. He gave first so we could even be givers or receivers. But in order to receive and in order to then give in return, there's something required, asked, or an action on our part. And in that regard, it doesn't just plop out. Yes. Every day, as he says, he takes care of the flowers. And they're just there. They just be. We can just be, but there has been more that was required of Adam and Hawa in the garden, in the Yarden, Noah and his sons, and every lineage that came after that, Abraham and Israel and the tribes that proceeded from that. So to continue to be fruitful, to multiply, to subdue the things on the earth, to rule over it, to have dominion over it. And so those are requirements to the earth that he's stated and commanded us, or given us, or is asking of us, or is requiring of us. And so, yeah, there's a question in there. There's two questions in there, but there's things to ponder on and to think and to consider with regard to the ways of the Father and who he really is versus things that sound good at times. And I'm not relying on doctrine and theology and sound doctrine. I'm relying on not being indoctrinated and not that, but the word, the living word, and the word made flesh, and the daily bread, and the voice of Yahuwah, and his Ruach HaKodesh, and his discernment, relying on him and not something that was created, but like him and how he moves and lives and breathes and is in presence, and the real authenticity of who Abba is, and the real authenticity of the relationship with him, and the real authenticity of the oneness with him, and the real authenticity of his presence and his likeness and his character and the experience with him. So yeah, just throwing that out there. I wonder what you all think. You can put it in the comments. You can add to it. You can you can put your thoughts in the comments, ask questions. This could be something that has a follow-up video, but just let me know. And yeah, thank you once again, Father, for you give me that freedom to think and to ask questions and to learn and to ponder and to wonder and to be like a child in my relationship and in my gleaning and in my receiving from you. And yeah, there is so freedom and so much you give. But you do also ask us and require us to then give in return. And so it's not just happening without nothing. You bought us with that price. In buying us, then what is there? If we look at the foreshadowing of Hosea, the whore as us when we whored against you, and you brought us back, and he bought her with the price and for 15 pieces of silver, right? And then he said to her, you are going to be with me. You're not going to go back out there again. I'm paraphrasing. And you said that to us when you bring us out of the world. and out of darkness into your marvelous light, you're like, I'm bringing you back, and you're not going out there again. That's the condition. I'm bringing you back. I'm claiming you back as my own. I'm redeeming you. I'm buying you back. I'm bringing you back home and under my house and under my care and under my provision and under my authority and under my rulership and under my headship, and that I am your husband and that I am your leader and all of that. And the condition is that you're not going to go back out there. You're going to remain repentant and not turn back into that defilement that I took you out of, that darkness that I brought you out of. You're going to remain with me is a condition. So yeah, interesting. Wonder what you think. Put it in the comments. Shalom, be well, peace and blessings. I will be esteemed through this and everything. Shalom.